Okay, so I'm going to go over the basics of the cheapest way to produce an R hop, and it's also kind of the easiest way. This barrel that we're going to use as an example, I believe, came out of a Krytac CRB, I believe. First things first, you're going to need to get the appropriate tools. So, gasket maker. I've been using JB Weld Ultimate Black RTV, works pretty well. I'm going to try this out. It doesn't specifically say RTV, but we'll see how it works. You'll need a razor blade, a small flathead screwdriver for spreading, a piece of wax paper, it actually showed there. Here's a little screwdriver. And I'm using a 15/64 drill bit that I'll be using the back side of. That it's smooth enough, and it's just about 6 millimeters to fit inside the actual barrel there. So first things first, any kind of flathead screwdriver or sharp tool, we're going to need to score lines inside the hop-up window. This is so that the RTV or whatever compound you're using can adhere and not actually fall off when you're using it. So I'm just going to sketch little marks into here. And then some along the front and back of the window. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take our wax paper and drill bit head, and we want the shiniest side up. Put it around the drill bit, and I forgot to include, you're going to need some silicone spray. These two, the wax paper and the silicone spray, help separate the drill bit from the compound that you're using, so that when you remove it, it doesn't rip it right out of the hop-up window. We'll spray just a little bit here on top, and then we'll go ahead and slide that in there. And then we're going to go ahead and take compound that we're going to use and just put a glob across the window there. Remember to put the cap back on, or this is what's going to happen. And you're going to have to keep chopping it off until you can get to it. Alright, take your flathead screwdriver, tiny little precision one, and just kind of push that into the window. Try not to roll it, because that'll create air pockets. So just push it in there, up and down, just dab it. Make sure it gets to all corners of that hop-up window. And then from this point, we'll wait 24 hours for it to cure, and then the next part of this, we will cut it down. Alright, in this step we're going to flat hop the stock ICS hop-up. I'm going to show you how to flat hop a typical hop-up rubber. This bucking is made by G&G. It's the green kind. I like these because they're cheap and they always work. So first things first, we're going to disassemble the ICS hopup. So I'm going to zoom in here and see a little bit more. And so first thing, we're going to remove the pin on the side there. Just pop it out with your finger. And you can pull it all the way out like that. And then we can remove the first part of the arm and just set it aside. And the second arm, careful, it's got a spring in it. So I suggest taking some needle nose pliers without cat hair on it and pull it right out. Don't lose this. And then you'll see here, let's see if I can focus. This is a crappy ass camera. Where are we going? Alright, there we are. Okay, so I'm going to use a modified, whatever the fuck it's pronounced, Baton Ryusoku flat nub. They're about $5 each, a little less in pounds, whatever you guys use over there. And I usually like to super glue these. You don't have to, but I like to. The good thing about these arms and these nubs is that they perfectly fit within the arch there. So you can pop that in there, and you don't really have to do any guesswork. So there are other ways to flat hop. Some people like to use the M-nub material. There are other manufacturers of flat nubs. I use these because they're easy to get hold of and they work. So I'll put just a tiny dab of super glue. I like to use the liquid super glue, not the gel stuff, because this stuff dries significantly faster and you don't have to sit here holding it like a jackass for an hour. And I'm doing this out of frame like an idiot, so bear with me here. Let me zoom out. So what I did was I applied some super glue and just dropped the nub right in the arm there. And they marry perfectly, so wait for that to dry. Takes about a minute. So while that's going on, I'm going to go ahead and modify the hopup bucking. You can toss all this stuff aside. We really just want this. Now we're going to have to turn it inside out. And the best way to do that is with a flathead screwdriver and some needle nose pliers. So I like to just kind of push the mouth of the bucking in, and then from the other side, so you got kind of, it just folds in like that, and then from the other side use your needle nose pliers to just pull it through. Careful not to grab the mouth of the hopup bucking because you will rip it. So just try to grab something that's folded, more dense material to avoid any rips. Can be a little tough to go all inside out all the way. And you can just use the needle nose to pull it all the way out. The reason why we're doing this is because on the inside of a typical hopup there is a little bump there. This is what gets pushed down by the typical nub. There's one floating around here. These things that are found inside a hopup. So what we want to do is actually get it on, and you can use your own barrel that we're working with. Just slide that right over there. Get the razor blade here and just gently shave off that bump. Now you don't have to shave all of it off because the rest will just sand down. Get yourself a piece of sandpaper. You'll need some of this, by the way, for the Rhop. I'm terrible at making videos, so I forget things. We'll just run that over there. I'm using some really fine sandpaper. That's what I'm using. We'll just rub it over the paper there and just kind of bring down that bump. The good thing about this is not what's going to come in contact with your BB like a traditional hopup. It's the Rhop patch that will do that. And we don't want to, maybe explain this or not, I don't remember, but the reason why we're doing this is that there's less material in between your flat hop nub and the Rhop, so that you don't have hopup basically turned up all the way all the time. The adjustment for Rhop is very, very fine-tuned. The slightest rotation of your hopup adjuster can mean the difference between your BBs flying straight up after 100 feet or flying straight in a tight path for over 200 feet. So that's pretty ground down there, which is good enough. So you can go ahead and remove it from the barrel and pull it back right side out. So we again use our screwdriver, needle nose plier, tuck in a fold, grab it, pull it through. Make sure, double check that you're not ripping the hopup. Keep this shit in frame, keep my hands out of the way. And I apologize if I mumble, that's just how I talk. There will definitely be a text version of this with the video. Come on, bastard. Okay, so now we have flat hop rubber. This is dry now. So we can go ahead and install it back in the barrel and get the crap out of the way. So, spring that we didn't lose, we can attach that back to the arm. And from the top of the hopup unit, we're going to install on the back side here, or I guess that would be the front. Drop it right in. So we'll zoom in here because this reassembly can be confusing to some. So I dropped it right back into here. It's kind of sitting in there. And then we can take and make sure we turn the hopup all the way down. On the wheel, and then we can drop this back in. You can see this little lip here. This comes in contact with the wheel, and then the arm on the other side of it pushes down that other arm with the nub installed. So we can slide that right into the wheel. So you can slide into the wheel and then push it down. And then on the side, we'll see that little hole there. That's where we'll put our pin back through. So you can see I put the pin back through that hole. It comes to the other side. You'll have to push on the top of the unit to make the hole up here. And we are done until the final installation. So we now have our flat hopped hop up unit, a flat hopped bucking, ready for an R-hop. Alright, our hop material is now dry. So what we're going to go ahead and do is remove the glob of material from the hop-up window. So we're going to need a razor blade to do so, and you don't ever want to cut this way, because what will happen is you'll end up cutting into your window. So you want to cut from the sides. So just carefully, just kind of, while leaving this still in there, just rock your razor blade back and forth, or slice it back and forth. Don't rock it, and just gently remove most of the material. You can use the barrel to guide the razor blade. And then come back the other way. Material is definitely different from the typical RTV that I use, so I hope it turns out well. So there's a large portion of it gone. So at this point, take a strip of sandpaper and just start taking it off. Check the sandpaper itself, wipe the excess off, and just keep going at it. With brass barrels, you'll start to notice that the patch inside the window will start matching the color of the brass. Those are just brass shavings going in there. You can clean that off with silicone spray pretty easily. Grab a piece of paper towel. Got some around here somewhere. So we'll take our, zoom out here, take a paper towel, come on, focus, spray some on here, and then we'll wipe it off. And then we'll dry it. And let's take a look here. Come on, camera, you piece of junk. It's a really nice patch in that window. And now we'll gently remove the drill bit. gently peel off the wax paper. Let's go ahead and remove the barrel, and I'll inspect it here real quick. You can't really see it from this video, but take my word for it, I'd say it's a pretty good patch. I apologize for this shitty camera, but there you have it. You got your R-hopped barrel, the ghetto R-hop. So let's zoom out some more and install it in the hopup. So we got our bucking we made, and slide that right on there. Now with the hopup unit, go ahead and slide that in there. Now you can see that line on the top of the barrel. Just kind of center that with the mouth of the hopup unit. Put your retaining clip on. And there you go. R-hopped barrel. Pretty easy.